व्हाट्स हैपनिंग, हाउ यू डूइंग। आज हम लोग कंटिन्यू करेंगे अपनी बातें इलेक्ट्रोकेमिस्ट्री पे। वी गोना टॉक अबाउट कॉन्सेंट्रेशन सेल्स व्हिच इज बेसिकली वही नर्स्ट इक्वेशन ही, बट दोनों तरफ कैथोड और एनोड पे सेम सॉल्यूशन रहेंगे, उनकी कॉन्सेंट्रेशंस अलग होंगी, हेंस कॉन्सेंट्रेशन टर्म्स। एंड या यू कैन एक्चुअली जनरेट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी विद दैट। इट्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। और दो टाइप की कॉन्सेंट्रेशन सेल्स, एक तो जहां पे एक्वा सॉल्यूशन, दूसरी जहां पे गैसेस है। दैट्स द ब्रॉड थिंग विल कवर देयर। देन we'll move on to electrolysis, इसलिए यहाँ पे electrolytic cells की बात की। What is electrolysis? Electrolysis मतलब electricity से we will break stuff, we will make chemical reactions happen. Okay, that's the focus of today's class. How you doing? Hi Rajanya. Hi, I'm great. How you doing? Good afternoon. Hi Mehak. Hey Rajanya, कल नेस्ट का एग्जाम है। Is anybody giving नेस्ट का एग्जाम क्या कल? Let me know in the comments. We'll start just in a minute. Let me open up NCERT. That's what we do, right? NCERT Electrochem. So we can look at हम लोग क्या कवर करेंगे आज NCERT से, right? Because JEE, NEET, any exam you're giving in India, the focus has to be NCERT, right? आप जो भी पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, please NCERT पे ध्यान दीजिए, है ना? That's important. So where are we on NCERT? Oh, hold on, इसका थोड़ा सा आगे पीछे हो गया, and you should be visible right about now. All right, cool. This is the NCERT. Where are we at? हम लोगों ने ये सब पहले already कर चुके हैं। नॉन इक्वेशन हो चुका है। आज का क्या फोकस है? आज का फोकस है concentration cells, equilibrium constants. We've kind of done all of these things. Electrochemical. This is interesting. We'll probably do this as well. We have touched upon this idea. हम लोग already इसको ऊपर से कर चुके हैं, but ठीक है, we'll talk about it again today. Yes, conductance. Oh, this is next session for sure. Interestingly enough, ये जो दो ideas है, लोगों, electrolytic cell, कहाँ गया? Electrolytic. The thing is, NCERT में थोड़ा ऑर्डर ऊपर नीचे है from what I am doing right now. The reason is because I feel that electrolytic cell तो बिल्कुल शुरुआत से करना चाहिए, right in the starting. The first thing we should do the electrolytic cell. So I'm going to do a little bit of this. ये electrolytic cell का concept क्या होता है? What is happening here? Yeah. And यहाँ पे तो बस एक पैराग्राफ दिया, then they go right into it. But electrolytic cells are very interesting क्योंकि अलग अलग कंडीशंस में अलग अलग प्रोडक्ट्स आते हैं। सो द ऑर्डर इज अ लिटिल बिट डिफरेंट फ्रॉम व्हाट आई एम डूइंग एंड व्हाट इज इन एनसीईआरटी। ठीक है, आई एम गोना फोकस ऑन डूइंग इलेक्ट्रोलाइटिक सेल्स टुडे एंड इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन, एंड उसके बाद हम लोग कंडक्टिविटी वो सब चीजें भी कर लेंगे, कोल्ड रोस्टर, वी विल डू ऑल दीस थिंग्स। सो डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट, वी विल कवर एवरीथिंग दैट्स हियर। हो सकता है बैटरीज आई विल लेट यू गाइस डू बाय योरसेल्फ, यार दिस इज जस्ट अ हेड्स अप। लास्ट वाला पोर्शन व्हिच इज बैटरीज एंड ऑल दैट आप खुद ही पढ़ लेना, इट्स नॉट अ बिग डील। सी आई विल कवर ऑल ऑफ दिस, ये सब हम लोग करेंगे। बैटरीज वाला सेक्शन पढ़ लेना यार, इट्स नॉट अ बिग डील, बट make sure you read it because this is the most practical part about this. All right, let's get back to today's session. Yeah, let's get back to this. Hey Sadia, what's up? Abdul, how you doing? Muktadir Chaudhary. Yeah, okay, I got the name right. Awesome. Badhiya, let's go. So let's start off with a question. That's our customary thing of doing, right? Last session में क्या था, उस पे एक सवाल करते हैं to refresh our memory, या क्या पढ़ाया था last time, right? Hydrogen gas electrode is made by dipping platinum wire in a solution of NaOH of pH 10 and by passing hydrogen gas around the platinum wire at 1 atmosphere pressure. What is the oxidation potential of this? तो ये हम लोग हाफ सेल की बात कर रहे हैं. So how do we do this? Write down the underlying equation. दिया क्या है? Let's write everything down first. ठीक है, ये दिया है कि take 2.303 RT by F is 0.059. What do we do? How do you approach this? As usual, write the Nernst equation. That's the first step. ठीक है, तो ये यहाँ पे हमने लिख दिया pH is 10, which means H plus is 10 power minus 10. What is the Nernst equation? Nernst equation would be E equal to E naught minus RT, ये क्या लिख दिया, E naught oxidation. Yeah, E of oxidation is E naught oxidation minus RT ln Q of what? Oxidation reaction का जो भी Q है. What do I mean? Why हम लोग oxidation की क्यों बात कर रहे हैं? Because देखो, what is happening is, सवाल पूछ रहा है ऑक्सीडेशन पोटेंशियल बारे में, मतलब कि हाइड्रोजन गैस है, ठीक है, then let's take half hydrogen gas, then it gives me H plus and an electron. ठीक है, E naught may be 0 but E is not 0, right? Because हम लोगों ने pH 10 लिया है, which means H plus is 10 power minus 10 molar and not 1 molar. अगर 1 मोलार लेते एक बार पे, 1 molar and 1 bar, at that point E will be equal to E naught, which will be equal to 0. Whether it's oxidation reduction doesn't matter. This is what we take, right? है ना? Rajendra giving the answer is 0.59 volts. अच्छा, ठीक है, देखते हैं. 0.59. The oxidation potential of electrode is 10x. Find x. X is 0.59. Rajendra, is that what you think? Rajendra, you're close. Mission MBBS. I don't know what you're saying. Focus on सवाल जो भी यहाँ पे है ना, उसको solve करो. If you have doubts, you want to ask me any random question, come to Discord, come to Telegram, ask whatever you want. There are a lot of students who will solve your doubts. But you have to give an effort. आप थोड़ा working दो, and people will solve your doubts. I have created such channels for you. Go to the bento link, वहाँ पे है Discord और Telegram link. You can join those communities. Okay. So question at hand. See, मैंने यही चीज जो इक्वेशन यहाँ पे लिखी है, half H2, let's say this is gas, obviously it is gas, aqueous H plus and electron. इसी चीज को अगर मैं Q की बात करूं, let's write down here itself so that it's easy to understand. What is Q for this reaction? Q is H plus concentration divided by pressure of H2 power half. Is this all right? This is extremely important because only if you have this right can you do anything else. ठीक है? Did I write this correctly? कोई लिखा नहीं है. One atmosphere, ठीक है. One atmosphere, one bar. Let's say they are the same. ठीक है? At our level it doesn't matter. ठीक है? कर लेते हैं. अभी आजकल NCERT one bar की बात करती है ना, इसलिए ये पुराना सवाल है, which is from one atmosphere. This is the PYQ basically. ठीक है? So now let's substitute over here. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, this is a question from my second lecture, Mission MBBS. ठीक है. जरूर बात करेंगे राम जी इसके बारे में. We'll definitely talk about it. Don't have to apologize, but come ना, उसमें आके बात करिए. राजन, okay, all the best for WB JEE Gen Pass tomorrow. राम जी, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, आप मेरे से कोई भी सवाल पूछ सकते हो. इस सवाल, anything that I'm not doing right now, you please ask on Discord, Telegram is all I request, so that this live session का flow बना रहे. That's all. But it's great. L2 is lecture 2. Okay, I'll try and come back to this towards the end of the session. We'll open up that L2. We'll look at. हो सकता है देखेंगे. इसको अभी try करें राम जी. Shall we try solving this? Okay. So what do I have so far? ln H plus. Okay. Well, I'm going to take log outside ना. इसको log बना लो. So this becomes 0.059 because this whole thing is 0.059. यहाँ पे log हो गया 10 power minus 10. This is 1. Answer बता दो भाई. क्या हुआ यहाँ पे? Not complicated at all. You get 0.59 volts. Okay, cool. So if I've got E oxidation to be 0.59, which Rajan ne pointed out perfectly, right? अगर 0.59 मिलता है, but what are they asking? They're asking for X if the electrode is 10x millivolt. Millivolt. ये 0.59 volt हो गया. Okay. 0.59 millivolt. Sorry, 0.59 volt, which means it is 590 millivolt. So 590 millivolt is equal to 10x millivolt. छोटा m is milli, है ना? Just like millimole, milliliter, same milli. Okay. So what is x now? X is 59, which is the answer over here. I know ये last वाला part थोड़ा सा random था, but यही था. This is what the question was, and this is a PYQ. Okay, this is from JEE from few years back. The reason I'm doing these questions for you is ताकि a lot of people are saying कि अरे NEET जैसा और JEE जैसा था, इस साल भी आसान ही होगा. अगर आसान ना हो तो क्या हुआ? It doesn't matter whether the paper is easy or difficult. You have to be prepared on how to solve it, right? आपको पता होना चाहिए concept क्या है. And with these questions you are definitely sure कि भाई this is the concept, is how things work. ठीक है. Let's move on to concentration cells. Okay. What is the concentration cell? मैंने आपको ऊपर से बता दिया था. It has two electrodes of the same material, each electrode dipped in a solution of its own ions, but concentration अलग अलग है. ठीक है. Current इसीलिए flow करता है क्योंकि there is a difference in concentration. And this is crazy. It may seem a little outlandish, but looking at the equation, आप figure out कर सकते हैं. Yeah, this works. This is not crazy. Okay. Partial pressure या फिर concentration के फर्क की वजह से. We'll look at it. We'll look at it using an equation, so you'll be able to figure it out. So पहला case, let's assume कि concentration बदल रही है. There are no gases. Let's say कि there are no gases. ऐसे ही एक फर्स्ट केस गैस नहीं है, सिर्फ मेरे पास एक्वा सॉल्यूशन है. ठीक है. सो हियर इज द सेटअप. ओके. व्हाट इज दिस? Q1. यहाँ पे क्या है? Q is C1 by C2, which means ये क्या आ रहा है यहाँ पे? C1 is the concentration of ions on the RHS. See what is happening here. Let's write it down properly ताकि पूरा आपको पता चले. Right? If there is some metal that is becoming M2 plus, this is happening at the anode because ये है oxidation, and same metal is being reduced at the cathode. ठीक है. M2 plus मैं लिख दिया. अभी let's not write 2 plus, let's write N plus. ठीक है. ऐसे ही आदत से N2 लिख दिया है. That's the most common मेरे लिए. ठीक है. This is at the cathode. Okay. So इन दोनों में से which one is C1, which one is C2? I've got one and I've got two. Can you tell me very quickly, looking at this, C1 कौन सा होगा, C2 कौन सा होगा? क्या आप जल्दी से मुझे बता सकते हैं? Yeah. If I give you that the equation is this, what is C1, what is C2? Think about it like this. अगर ये एनोड हो रहा है, ये कैथोड हो रहा है, व्हाट इज क्यू? क्यू विल बी एम एन प्लस एनोड by mn plus cathode, right? This is the same Q from equilibrium, which means कि anode is going to be C1 and cathode is going to be C2. Okay, cool. ये सब हो गया. अब सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग बात ये है कि अगर मैं ऐसा सेटअप लूं जहां पे 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन है, अगर कॉपर का सेटअप ले लो, अगर ये लिया मैंने, दिस इज माय इक्वेशन, ओके, दिस इज माय एक्सप्रेशन. ये क्या है? दिस इज एन आयुपैक के हिसाब से हमने ये लिखा है. यहाँ पे है एनोड, यहाँ पे है कैथोड. द मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग इज कि ई नॉट हो जाता है जीरो. व्हाई विल ई नॉट बी जीरो? ओवरऑल सेल में क्या हो रहा है? ओवरऑल सेल में आई हैव गॉट ई नॉट, ई इज इक्वल टू ई नॉट ऑफ द रिएक्शन माइनस समथिंग समथिंग समथिंग, राइट? अब ई नॉट रिएक्शन क्या हो गया? दिस इज ई नॉट कैथोड माइनस ई नॉट एनोड. अब these both are the same, right? E not anode and cathode are the same, they're the same. So this is the overall reaction, which is very interesting, right? इसीलिए E naught cell is going to be zero for concentration cell, and this is something that could come as a part of a certain reason, या फिर कहीं पे बीच में पूछ सकते हैं. Always, it has to be always. It's not dependent on what type of stuff you take. Concentration cell है तो E naught zero ही होगा. I've shown you as to how and why. ठीक है, cool. So for the cell to generate current, मतलब कि for E cell to be positive, for this to be positive, this ratio needs to be greater than how much? Greater than 1. जाहिर, right? एक से ज्यादा होना चाहिए इसको. अगर एक से कम हो गया then this value is negative. एक से ज्यादा है तो this value is positive, right? Okay, which means कि concentration at the cathode has to be greater than the concentration at the anode for E naught cell to be greater than 0. Pretty cool, है ना? Yes, राजन ने बिल्कुल सही. गुड इवनिंग प्रिया. Yes, exactly, equilibrium. बिल्कुल सही बोला आपने. ठीक है, that's it. So for spontaneous reactions to take place, C2 greater than C1. Cathode concentration is greater than anode concentration. Another important idea from this concentration cells which could be tested. Tested अपनी जगह है, but समझ लो कि हो क्या रहा है. Okay, and it's enjoyable. It's very easy if you do it step by step. Next idea, same thing. Instead of concentrations, take some gases. ठीक है, gases का pressure के difference की वजह से you could have some sort of a potential difference that is set up. ठीक है, this is even more crazy because I have taken standard hydrogen electrodes, right? इसलिए मैंने पहला सवाल आपके साथ जो किया, that was the oxidation potential of a standard hydrogen electrode which was not at standard conditions, to prove to you कि E naught oxidation is possible to not be zero. E oxidation, E, right? E value is not possible कि zero ना हो क्योंकि not standard state. So here look at this, दोनों तरफ, and look at the way I've written this. ये मैंने बताया है, okay, कि why do we write it like this? ऐसा क्यों लिख रहे हैं हम? There's something that's very interesting that happens over here. And ये वाला ऐसा nomenclature आपने शायद पहले नहीं देखा होगा इस टाइप का, because इसमें salt bridge है नहीं. Where is the salt bridge? Salt bridge नहीं है क्या? खैर, I know this looks funny, but I can just dip both these platinum things, the same thing. Salt bridge के बिना भी कर सकता हूँ. In that case, there is nothing here. All I've got is this right here. ठीक है. HCl की concentration is not what is important. What is important is the pressure of this gas and the pressure of this gas that comes out. कौन सी gas? Same gas है. What are the different phases? ये platinum wire, जो पहली platinum wire है, which is the anode, या इसका phase और इसका cathode का phase. मतलब कि say platinum wire 1, this is the anode and this is the cathode. यहाँ पे hydrogen bubbles out. यहाँ पे hydrogen bubbles out. No, hydrogen doesn't bubble out over here. यहाँ पे hydrogen आता है and it gives you H plus. यहाँ पे hydrogen will bubble out at the cathode. ठीक है? And they are both mixed, put in this solution of HCl. It looks very very weird, not an NCERT, but just an idea I thought I'll share with you. एक छोटी सी बात ही है. E naught is going to be 0, right? What is the overall reaction happening? H plus जो है constant है. जैसे अगर वहां pH 10 लिख दिया, ठीक है, constant हो गया. But pressure of the two gases at the anode and the cathode can be different. So now in this case, what is Q going to be? Q is going to be interesting, right? अगर मैं Q यहाँ पे डालूं तो Q क्या बन जाएगा? Q will be H plus, okay, whole square, because ये इस तरफ आ गया, into P2 divided by H plus whole square into P1. And look at this, ये देखो ये कैंसिल हो गया, इसलिए मैंने बोला कि आप कोई भी चीज रख सकते हो, कैन बी एक्स, व्हाटएवर कॉन्सेंट्रेशन यू टेक, इट डज नॉट मैटर, राइट? Q only depends on P2 by P1. What is Q? If you are not used to this, because बहुत लोग इसको इस तरीके से नहीं लिखते हैं, मैं बार बार बता रहा हूँ, what is Q? RT by NF ln Q, ठीक है? Because I want to draw parallel between this and equilibrium. जरूरी है, मग मत करो इस चीज को, मग करने वाली चीज नहीं है. You figure it out using the equation. तो इस इक्वेशन में ये चीज है RHS में, ये चीज है LHS में, ठीक है? Cool. तो इसलिए LHS वाली चीज P1 मैंने यहाँ पे नीचे लिखी है. So that's very interesting. That the EMF generated is independent of the concentration of the electrolyte, or HCl. Keep this in mind. Hi, good evening, Savinay. Hey, Preetam, what's happening? What's happening? We'll do a couple of questions. Don't worry, don't worry. Agar thoda bhai laga, we'll do questions. But look at this again. In this case, and this case is slightly different from the concentration wali cheez. Remember, हम लोगों ने first principle से ये चीज derive की. What is P2? What is P1? Let's go back and see. अगर हाइड्रोजन गैस जहां बबल हो रही है, राइट? लेट्स गो बैक, थोड़ा सा देखते हैं कैथोड एनोड का आंसर. मैं भी खुद ही भूल गया. वेयर इज कैथोड, व्हाट इज एनोड? ओके, दिस P2 इज कैथोड, P1 इज एनोड. ओके, ग्रेट. बट लुक एट दिस. अभी जो है P2 वाज कैथोड, P1 इज एनोड. यहां पे उल्टा हो गया, देखो. When you had concentrations, you would go 0.059. This was for copper, right? 0.059 by 2 log of C1 by C2, where this was cathode and this was anode, right? यहाँ पे भी 2 still, you know, यहाँ पे 2 is, this guy is at the cathode, which means कि anode pressure is on top, cathode pressure is over here. So in this case, yeah, for a spontaneous reaction to take place, the pressure of the gas at the anode should be higher than that at the cathode. Now, if you try and mug this, you're going to go crazy, right? अगर आप इसको मग करने की कोशिश करोगे कि भाई P1, P2, E1 लिख लो यार, इसलिए बार बार बोलता हूं लिख लो. क्या लिखना है हम लोग को? E0 is again going to be 0, right? That's also fine. What do we have to write? We have to write, let me go back here and copy it actually, ताकि आप लोग उसको कंफ्यूज ना हो जाओ. रुको, जो पहले ही लिखा था उसी को I'll just copy it again. What slide number was it on? I think it was on slide 32, right? We should copy that one more time. Give me one moment. यहीं पे फिर से डाल देता हूँ 32, so that you guys find it easy to recall. This, when you do this sort of new things, kabhi kabhi it gets a little confusing, right? Let's just do that. Let's just copy it one more time. Hi Narayan, what's happening, Narayan Das ji? 32 goes on to 37. 37 में जगह है, first जगह है. 37 में जगह थोड़ी कम है. We're gonna come back here and put it on 36. Let's put it on 36, so that it's easy to see. Whoa. Arey, give me a moment. Just figuring out this presentation stuff. All right, cool. Okay, ठीक है. देखो फिर से यहाँ पे P1 greater than P2. What was P1? P1 was the pressure at anode. What is P2? P2 is the pressure at cathode. प्लीज इसको मग मत करो. You can derive it. 2-3 बार derive करो and then you'll know, okay, ठीक है, उल्टा होता है. Concentration here, pressure वहां. उल्टा क्यों होता है? Because clearly here the gas is getting consumed at the anode to form the ions. वहां पे ions anode पे बन रहे थे. बस यहाँ पे फर्क ये है कि concentration ions don't matter, they get cancelled out. इसीलिए ये pronounce होके आ रहा है, ये anode है, ये cathode है. ठीक है? Cool. Okay. Now we can extrapolate this and say कि ठीक है, अगर हम लोग इसको ऐसे लिखें, right? If we go ahead and play around this with a little bit more, what is E0 cell, right? For any concentration cell at equilibrium, E0 तो 0 हो गया. Then I can go ahead and say कि look, equilibrium constant is going to be equal to this whole value itself. Why? Why is that? ये क्यों होगा? P1 anode, P2 cathode. Okay, great. Thank you, Preetam. Absolutely, thank you for that. What's happening here? What is happening here? यहाँ पे हमने लिखा है कि E0 cell is 0.059 by n log Ku. हम लोग इसको इस तरह लिखें भी, but finally E0 is 0. Like, हैं? That becomes weird. Yeah. So for a concentration cell at equilibrium, K value is equal to 1. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि all the concentrations are equal to 1, all the pressures are equal to 1. यही सेम चीज जो हम लोग शुरुआत में देखे थे. We saw this in the starting, right? I told you that what is death of a cell was when E0 is equal to E. Okay. Now, for a concentration cell, E cell and E naught cell are both equal to 0 when K is equal to 1. Small difference, yeah, nothing to mug. Please do this step by step by step and it will make sense. Okay, let's take a quick question ताकि आप लोग बोर ना हो जाओ. Consider this cell. You've got platinum, which is a solid, obviously. There is the phase जहाँ पे hydrogen gas bubble होती है, and it gives you HCl at C1. Now this is another case जहाँ पे देखो मैंने जो एग्जांपल दिया था उसमें कोई salt bridge नहीं था. Now there is a salt bridge, which means I've got my usual two chamber वाला setup. ठीक है. अगर मैं इधर एनोड लिख लिया, इधर कैथोड लिख लिया, ऐसे ही just for the heck of it, I put anode here, cathode over here. You can do whatever you want. There are standard way to do it, but you can do whatever. It's okay. ठीक है. So यहाँ पे गैस हो रही है प्रेशर P1 पे. This is C1, this is P2, this is C2. Okay. Under what conditions will this cell behave as a galvanic one? Galvanic one मतलब galvanic cell मतलब कि E cell is greater than 0 when this is the anode and this is the cathode. So what do we do from here? हम लोग उसको करें क्या? Yeah. Let's find out Q. The steps to do this question is 1. Find Q. Okay. And you know that E naught cell is equal to 0. ठीक है. E is equal to E naught minus RT by NF ln Q. ठीक है. तो अगर E naught हो गया 0, then 1 by Q should be positive. This is getting confusing. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? 1 by Q should be positive. No. देखो, E is negative RT by NF ln Q. Right? Which means 1 by Q should be greater than 1. ठीक है. और Q should be less than 1. सेम ही चीज है ना. दोनों चीज सेम ही चीज है. Okay. Now please try it out. Please try it out. Equivalent ratio to cell. Absolutely right, Rajani. Can you try this question out? Find Q. Next step मैं यहाँ लिख नहीं रहा हूँ. For spontaneity, you figure it out. ठीक है. I've given you the equation यहाँ पे छोटा छोटा यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है. E naught is 0. E is minus RT by NF, so it should be positive. So basically, ln Q needs to be negative. What does that mean? That means Q is less than 1. That's all यार. यही तो बोल रहा हूँ. ठीक है. What is Q? लिख के बताओ. Q क्या होगा इस केस में? बताइए. Can you tell me that? What is Q? Rajan is confident about this. Rajan, have you solved this question before? Or are you that good? Okay, Rajan says B. ठीक है, देखते हैं. एक बात बताओ राजन यार, इसमें हर जगह पे C square क्यों लिखा है? P1 तो P2 लिखा है. Why is it C square everywhere? Rajan, I have one concern with this. I don't think C and P can be in the same this thing. What do you think? अच्छा ठीक है, देखते हैं. Is this correct, Rajan? Okay, cool. Let's see, देखते हैं. Okay. So if I were to write down this equation, ये मैंने यहाँ पे draw तो कर दिया, छोटा सा यहाँ पे लिख देते हैं. I've got H2 at P1 giving me HCl at C1. That's aqueous, and this is oxidation. And reduction में क्या हो रहा है? I've got C2 HCl giving me P2 of hydrogen. ठीक है. So what is Q now? Q is going to be C1 into P2 C1 squared. Came into C1 square. Okay, ठीक है. C1 square कर देते हैं. Why are we doing C1 square? Because H2 is giving 2 HCl is what we can assume. ठीक है. So 2 HCl gives P. ठीक है. C1 square into P2 divided by C2 square into P1. This is what I am getting Q to be. राजना ने हटा दिया, नसीमुल ने भी हटा दिया. क्या हुआ यार? What happened? क्या हुआ? आप लोगों ने रिट्रैक्ट क्यों कर लिया? कुछ गड़बड़ी लगी क्या? What was it that you found was weird? जो आपके इसके आपने हटाया? नहीं बन रहा है. प्रीतम ट्राई कर यार, बन जाएगा. क्यों नहीं बनेगा? आराम से बनेगा. We'll do it step by step. No, what's the hurry? आराम से करो. आराम से करो. Do you see that they both? It's unlikely that they would be in the same this thing. Yeah. What do you think? It's unlikely, right? कि दोनों same जगह पे होंगे. You see that? Do you agree with that? कि both of these cannot be on the same setup. You know, like ये जो आपने B बोला, B मुझे fishy लग रहा है. क्यों? At least that part is okay कि क्यों B नहीं होना चाहिए. Is that part okay? Just give me a thumbs up if that part is okay. कि B seems weird. B तो नहीं होना चाहिए. If you understood that, then 90% of my job is done. Honestly, seriously. क्या लगता है आपको? थोड़ा बताइए, सोच के बताइए. Yeah. What do you think? क्या लगता है आपको? Oops, 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 oops. Control G, Control C. Give me one moment. Let me fix some things. Delete, paste, delete, paste. And Q is this, Q is okay, cool. Let's see. देखते हैं क्या होगा. प्रीतम भाई, देखो, Q for it to be spontaneous. What is Q? How do I know कि Q ये होगा यार? ठीक है. This is on the RHS. This is on the RHS. ये देख के समझ में आ रहा है. This is on the LHS. This is on the LHS. So RHS वाली चीजें मल्टीप्लाई करो, ठीक है? Which is what? C1 square into P2. This is because this is on the RHS. ये दोनों है LHS पे, ठीक है? ये बन गया आपका Q. What is E? E is negative. ये बार बार इतना फेड क्यों कर रहा है? I think I got some weird this thing on. What should I call it? Transition for some reason. हाँ, सब जगह फेड लगा हुआ है. हटाओ यार, फेड वेड नहीं चाहिए हम लोगों को. क्यों इतना फेड कर रहे हो लाइफ में? ठीक है, ओके. So E naught is negative 0.059 by 2 ln Q because E naught cell is equal to 0. ठीक है, अब क्या करना है? ln Q यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है, तो बाकी चीजें are immaterial, but basically Q needs to be less than 1. If Q is less than 1, the only thing that makes sense is that this guy is greater than this guy, right? The denominator is greater than the numerator. Which denominator? This. Which means the answer is C. Pritam, all good? Rajanya Nasimul is all right? Get used to this, yaar. People don't do questions like this because these do things from first principles. No problem. Good, Rajanya, we figure it out. The main thing is figuring out कि आंसर सही क्या है. It's okay अगर कभी शुरुआत में गलती हो गई. एक और सवाल करते हैं. With this concentration cells खत्म. Literally. Yeah, we'll finish concentration cells in 15-20 minutes. That's all it takes. That's literally all it takes. ठीक से करना है बस. A hydrogen electrode was placed in a buffer solution. Buffer solution of sodium acetate and acetic acid in ratio A is to B. And another hydrogen electrode Y was placed in a buffer solution. Sodium acetate and acetic acid in a ratio B is to A. क्या करें बफर का यहाँ पे? If reduction potential value for two cells are found to be E1 and E2, find pK of the acid. अब ये क्या बला है? What? Okay, here is a big hint. The fact that it's saying buffer solution. What does buffer mean? Buffer मतलब constant H plus. Correct? So in the first case, जहां पे ratio sodium acetate, which is let's write it as NaA divided by HA acetic acid, इसका ratio कितना है? A by B in the first case. Second case में ratio है किस चीज का? Same चीज, NaA by HA. This ratio is B by A. Now यहाँ पे K कहां से आ गया? PK मतलब K आएगा. What does K have to do all this? कर सकते हो तुम. सोचो. I think we can do this from here. Take a minute, think about this. You will be able to do it. I believe in you. Try it out. K कहां से आएगा? सोचो. If you have a weak acid, क्या करता है वो? Dissociate करता है to H plus and A minus, right? HA gives you H plus A minus. अब ये बस बोल रहा है कि वो NaA का क्या मतलब है? सोडियम एसिडेट मतलब A माइनस ही आया होता है ना, फिक्स्ड है. ठीक है, उसमें डाल दो. डू फ्रॉम फर्स्ट प्रिंसिपल्स. What do I mean? What do I mean? If I write HE gives H plus plus A minus, then at equilibrium, I can write that, oh, C into 1 minus alpha, C alpha, acha, then Ka is going to be equal to C alpha square divided by C into 1 minus alpha, which then becomes something else, but I will not cancel it out of this case. I will let it be, right? I will not cancel out C and alpha and all. Why? Because I can write this as, what is this? This is H plus into A minus divided by HA is equal to Ka. You see that now? So I can say, I can get the ratio of H plus in terms of these three quantities. इसमें से ये तो constant है हो गया. This ratio is known. ये ratio यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है. इसको use करिए. So I can get H plus in terms of Ka and A and B. That's all you need to do. After that, we can do a little bit of fun stuff. Pritam on fire. Pritam, I like it. बढ़िया. थैंक यू फॉर द आंसर. जितने जितने देर में मैं एक्सप्लेन कर रहा था कैसे करना है, प्रीतम एंड राजन ने फिगर इट आउट. एक्सीलेंट. हाँ, इट टुक 2-3 मिनट्स टू एक्सप्लेन. नो, इतना ही टाइम चाहिए उससे. दिस इज द मैक्सिमम टाइम यू नीड. नीट और जेईई में इतना टाइम लगाने वाले सवाल नहीं आएंगे, गारंटीड नहीं आएंगे. अगर आ गए देन यू आर प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर इट, बट नहीं आएंगे. एडवांस में आ सकते हैं, नेनो नीट में नहीं आएंगे. व्हाई एम आई प्रिपेयरिंग यू फॉर दिस देन? ताकि मुश्किल से मुश्किल पेपर यू बी एबल टू डू एंड यू हैव कॉन्फिडेंस टू डू एवरी क्वेश्चन इन योर लाइफ. ठीक है, ओके. जैसे मैंने आपको बताया था, E is E naught minus 0.059 log of H plus. Why? This is just the null equation, nothing new here whatsoever. ठीक है. This is the same thing, HA giving me A minus plus H plus. Okay. I can write Ka as I told you as this expression. AC acetate. AC acyl होता है क्या? चलो, let's assume that is acetate for this point, at this point. Yeah. A minus is acetate. ठीक है. Cool. Great. So now in the first compartment H plus is Ka into B by A. In the second compartment H plus is Ka into A by B. Okay, wonderful. हमको pK निकालना है. कैसे निकालेंगे pK? अभी what I can do is I can find E1 and E2. What is E1 and E2? If I find E1 and E2 and I add them up, तब क्या होगा? E2 will be the same thing, blah blah blah, H1 H2, right? ये तो हो जाएगा 0. This doesn't count. So I just have to add both of these up. So in a sense, if I'm adding E1 and E2, what I'm doing is I'm actually adding both of these, yeah, plus this H plus for the second one. Okay. Once you do that, आ गया ये, है ना? Look at this. It's wonderful. The property we're going to use of logs here is log of A. Let's use X and Y. Log of X by Y is log of X minus log of Y. The other property is what? Log of xy is equal to log of x plus log y. मतलब कि ये भाई साहब तो हो गए कैंसिल आउट. सॉरी, ये भाई साहब हो गए कैंसिल आउट. राइट? दैट्स व्हाट दिस मींस, यू नो, दैट b by a gets cancelled out. log k दो बार हो गया ऐड. ठीक है, दो बार ऐड हो गया मतलब बाहर निकाल दो. सो 2 into 0.59 is this. Okay, awesome. If log k is E1 plus E2 by 0.018 negative, pK is what? What is pK? pK is negative log to the base 10 of Ka. I will use that expression to get this. बिल्कुल सही बताया. Yes, yes, yes. Ka is 1 by pK. थोड़ा सा बदलना पड़ेगा, but आपकी भावनाओं को मैं समझ गया राजन. I get what you mean. What you mean? C is the answer to this. मजा आया? Half an hour में we have finished concentration cells and numericals on concentration cells. Proving to you it's not that complicated. And इसलिए NCERT में बहुत डिटेल में है नहीं, बट इस पे सवाल आते रहते हैं यार. That's why I thought we'll cover this. Weirdly enough, इस टॉपिक पे जेईई मेन और नीट पे सवाल नहीं आए इस बार. I could not remember anything of this sort. I think what did come was Faraday's laws पे बहुत सवाल आ रहे थे, right? And also conductivity पे, even in JEE advanced. There is a small thing that I think we should do, right? We won't talk about this too much in detail, but for a cell reaction, if you were to relate delta G, delta H, and delta S, how would you do that? You know that delta G naught is minus RT ln K, right? Because G naught likha hai. Remember, where did I get this from? Delta G is delta G naught plus RT ln Q. Then, when this is equal to 0, then I can write it like this. Q is equal to K. ठीक है, ये किया मैंने. I can also write this as minus NF E naught cell. Interestingly, इसको दूसरी तरफ ले जाने पे I get this sort of an expression. Now, if E naught is positive, and it is, K is much greater than 10 power 3. ये मैं क्यों लिख रहा हूं? Put the numbers. You will see K. You will get the value of K to be 50 or 40 or 30. इतने अजीब अजीब इतने बड़े बड़े नंबर जाएंगे ना. गेट अ फील फॉर दिस, बिकॉज the most toughest questions that come from this chapter will combine it with equilibrium and they will say कि देखो दो रिएक्शन हो रहे हैं, इससे कॉम्प्लेक्स बन रहा है, ये हो रहा है, क्या होगा. इट्स प्रीटी क्रेजी. यू आर सेइंग थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है. अच्छा अच्छा प्रीतम, कंडक्टेंस में, या कंडक्टेंस में राजन, यू आर राइट. सो remember in the last session I also told you this is how we derived, this is what we used to derive that delta G is equal to the maximum non-PV work. We use this expression to get to that, right? At constant pressure, dG is equal to minus S dt, and there I can go and say, look, S is minus dG by dt, which is minus NF dE by dt. कभी कभी एक दो बार जेई में आ चुका है, नीट में तो आई डोंट थिंक दिस कम, बट जेई में दिस आइडिया हैज कम, where you say that delta G delta H is NFE plus NFT into this expresses is a partial differential equation where at a constant pressure dE T of delta E by this is equal to basically delta S. That's what we're trying to say. ठीक है, cool. Small छोटा सा derivation. This is called the temperature coefficient of a cell. It has a unit of volt per Kelvin. Okay, cool. छोड़ो इसको. This is a small thing. For 1 or 2 minutes we just went over derivation. I hope you don't are tested on this, but if you are, we have briefly covered it. I'll give you the notes. पढ़ लेना एक बार एग्जाम से पहले, मे बी किसी कोचिंग में पूछ ले, जेई और नीट में पूछने के चांसेस कम है इसके, बट एनीवे. Okay, let's talk about electrolysis, the most practical idea of all of what we've done so far. How do we actually apply it, right? और ये चीज आप शायद 9th और 10th ग्रेड से पढ़ते आ रहे हो. What is electrolytic cell? There are non-spontaneous reactions that you make spontaneous by passing electricity. That's what this is. And NCERT में भी इसका एक डायग्राम शुरुआत में दिया हुआ था, which is not fair for them to do that. You know, कि they say कि जिंक और कॉपर में, कॉपर होना चाहिए कैथोड पे, जिंक होना चाहिए एनोड पे, हम उल्टा कर देंगे और उस रिएक्शन को कैसे स्पॉन्टेनियस करें, put make a potential difference of 1.1 volts or greater. Now that is such a crazy thing to do right in the starting of the chapter, but that is what we're doing, making electrolysis happen. ठीक है, नॉन स्पॉन्टेनियस रिएक्शन को एक एक्सटर्नल सोर्स से हम लोग ड्राइव कर रहे हैं. ओके, सो दिस कन्वर्ट्स इलेक्ट्रिकल एनर्जी इनटू केमिकल एनर्जी. इसका क्या मतलब है? आउटसाइड, बाहर इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आर फ्लोइंग. सो व्हाट डज दिस मीन? बैटरी क्या होती है? एक नेगेटिव टर्मिनल, एक पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल. ठीक है, लेट अस से दिस इज इलेक्ट्रोड 1, दिस इज इलेक्ट्रोड 2. अब कैन यू टेल मी which of these electrodes is the cathode, which is the anode? Like what? मुझे क्या मालूम? नहीं, you can tell just by this. जबरदस्ती just by this you can tell what is the cathode, is the anode. कैसे? देखो, नेगेटिव इलेक्ट्रोड का मतलब क्या? This means I have made this जबरदस्ती, I am imparting electrons to this electrode. मतलब this is consuming. I shouldn't say consuming. This is accepting. Let's say accepting. This is accepting electron. ठीक है. What about this? इस तरफ ये positive terminal से this is pulling electrons. मतलब this is, what do you call it? Furnishing electrons. Is that the right term? Furnishing बोलते हैं. Furnishing electrons. है ना? Rajan, बोलो. It's okay. So if I just tell you this is an electrolytic cell. What is electrolytic cell? दो इलेक्ट्रोड है, अभी ठीक है, इसमें पानी aqueous solution है, सब ठीक है, you can do all of those things, but मैं ये बताना चाहता हूं आपको कि I am forcing electricity to pass through electrodes जो पड़े हैं अपने solutions में, common ions हैं उसमें, right? अगर ये जिंक इलेक्ट्रोड है, अगर ये कॉपर इलेक्ट्रोड है, ये जिंक इलेक्ट्रोड है, तो यहाँ पे ZnSO4 डाल दो, यहाँ पे CuSO4 डाल दो, राइट? सो देयर आर Cu2 plus ions over here, there are Zn2 plus ions over here, etc etc. ठीक है, कूल. सो व्हाट आर वी डूइंग ओवर हियर? क्या कर रहे हैं हम लोग? 1 minus 2 plus. ओके, कहा गया आपने इलेक्ट्रोड 1 is minus, बिल्कुल सही. या राजन, यू आर राइट. दिस इज अ नेगेटिव इलेक्ट्रोड, आई एग्री. दिस इज अ पॉजिटिव इलेक्ट्रोड, ये बिल्कुल सही है. बट इसमें से राजन यहाँ विच इज द कैथोड, विच इज द एनोड? सिंपल तरीका है समझने का. ऑक्सीडेशन कहां होता है? Oxidation is always at the anode. Reduction कहाँ होता है? Reduction is always at the cathode. Also, accepting electron मतलब reduction, है ना? This is accepting of electrons. And anode का उल्टा हो गया, it will furnish electrons, है ना? So this is the cathode, this is the anode. Yes, oil rig and all that. ठीक है? बस हो गया, दिस इज इट, खत्म, इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस खत्म। ठीक है, थोड़ा और पढ़ लेते हैं। Now for this reaction, जहां पे पानी देता है H2 and O2, this is different, this is very different from H2 giving H plus। ठीक है, यहाँ पे H plus नहीं है, यहाँ पे जो पानी को हम लोग जो है स्प्लिट कर रहे हैं, बेसिकली यू आर पासिंग इलेक्ट्रिसिटी थ्रू वाटर, splitting the atom, so to speak, splitting the molecule and giving you H2 and O2. Splitting the atom, that's nuclear energy, we're not doing that. This splitting molecules, H2 and O2 निकल रहा है। इसका E cell is negative 1.23 volt, which means I have to provide an energy, I have to provide potential difference greater than 1.23 volt for the reaction to happen। ठीक है, cool, okay। So पानी के इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस करने के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा आपको? पानी के इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस में लेट मी पुट सम एनोड एंड सम कैथोड। ठीक है, और मैंने जो रूडिमेंट्री क्रूड बनाया था वही चीज यहाँ पे ठीक से बनी हुई है। दिस इज द नेगेटिव टर्मिनल, दिस इज द पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल। नेगेटिव टर्मिनल इज पुशिंग इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, मतलब दिस मस्ट बी द कैथोड व्हिच इज द नेगेटिव टर्मिनल। ओके, पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल से जो कनेक्टेड है, व्हाट इज इट दिस गोइंग टू, दिस गोइंग टू पुल इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, व्हिच मींस कि यहाँ पे है दिस इज द पॉजिटिव। सो एनोड इज पॉजिटिव, कैथोड इज नेगेटिव। और इसका उल्टा होता है व्हेन यू डू गैल्वेनिक सेल। यस, गैल्वेनिक सेल में क्या होता है? गैल्वेनिक सेल में क्या होता था? लेट्स टेक कॉपर एंड जिंक, राइट? ओके, दिस इज ऑक्सीडेशन, दिस इज फर्निशिंग इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, दिस इज ऑक्सीडेशन, मतलब दिस इज द एनोड, दिस इज कैथोड, which means this requires electrons, electron flow इधर जा रहा है, इस तरफ से हो रहा है और इधर आ रहा है। ठीक है, so in this case since this is accepting electrons, this is positive, this is furnishing electrons, this is negative। ठीक है, you see anode यहाँ पे था negative, यहाँ पे है positive। this is how you compare and contrast galvanic cells and electrolytic cells। ठीक है, this chapter थोड़ा भारी है but it's not difficult, it's intense but not difficult। there is this, there is this, there is this, it's all logical, ये होता है, ये होता है, ये होता है। that's what I think। what do you think? आपको क्या लगता है? any doubts? is this tricky? any of this random to you? please let me know in the comments। ठीक लग रहा है या ज्यादा हो गया? बताओ बताओ, be honest about it। ठीक लग रहा है या ज्यादा हो गया? all right, cool। now yeah, so I am passing electricity in the outside circuit, और अंदर क्या होता है? अंदर तो ions मूव होते हैं, nothing is changed। galvanic cell is opposite of the electrolytic cell, so process the same। बाहर electrons flow कर रहे हैं, अंदर ions flow कर रहे हैं, that has not changed। इलेक्ट्रोलाइट में दोनों कैटोन आयन होते हैं, फ्यूज स्टेट होते हैं। फ्यूज स्टेट मतलब मोल्टन। ओ ओ ओ इंटरेस्टिंग। फ्यूज स्टेट मतलब कि अगर कोई मेटल है, लाइक से metal, well let's talk about like this, what if I've got some metallic things and then metal, okay। फ्यूज स्टेट का मतलब क्या? जो सॉलिड है उसको लिक्विड बना दिया, मोल्टन, राइट? मोल्टन स्टेट इज फ्यूज स्टेट, ओके। एक्वा सॉल्यूशन दोनों इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कर सकते हैं। तो sequence computer programming, that's very interesting way of looking at it। so you've got a source of current which is the battery, this is how you're going to construct the cell, okay। you've got a cathode which is attached to the negative। now I'm just going to go over everything we've done so far, right? just summarizing it। reduction occurs at the cathode, so cathode is going to be the negative electrode। anode, you attach it to the positive, so obviously that's a positive electrode, and oxidation occurs over here। this is the overall picture। now if you look at the electrolysis of molten NaCl, and this is crazy, this is where science becomes so awesome। you got NaCl which is like common salt, right? namak बिना any additives, just pure NaCl। नमक में बाय द वे KCl और हजारों चीजें होती है, ठीक है। NaCl, प्योर NaCl is you know you find in labs। उसको आप लो, उसको मेल्ट करो, which needs a very high temperature to do। molten NaCl will conduct electricity। why? because look, what is NaCl? solid state आपके सिलेबस से हटा तो दिया गया है। Na plus and Cl minus ions। each sodium is surrounded by 6 chloride ions। ठीक है, each chloride ion is then surrounded by 6 Na plus ions। ठीक है, but what I'm trying to say is ये जो ionic bonds हैं, ये जब टूटते हैं ना, पानी में तो डालो टूट ही जाते हैं फॉर श्योर, पानी में डालने से डिसऑर्डर जाते हैं, बट मोल्टन स्टेट में भी दे कैन मूव अराउंड. ये सॉलिड स्टेट है, सब परफेक्टली नाउ, दे मूव अराउंड. मूविंग आयंस क्या होता है? इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. व्हाई विल दे मूव? ओके, अगर मैंने मेल्ट किया NaCl को, ions are there, मतलब it could conduct electricity, but by providing a drive, a potential outside, बाहर मैं बैटरी लगाता हूं, that forces these to move and hence current flows. Now forcing क्या होगा? Cl minus will go to the positive terminal. Okay, Na plus will go to the negative terminal. क्यों? भाई Na plus को चाहिए इलेक्ट्रॉन, नेगेटिव टर्मिनल के पास इलेक्ट्रॉन है, और Cl माइनस को इलेक्ट्रॉन नहीं चाहिए. इट्स लाइक ब्रो, टेक माय इलेक्ट्रॉन्स अवे, बिकम Cl, तो दैट विल गो टू द पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल. ठीक है, पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल भी चाहता है कि इलेक्ट्रॉन ले खींच ले उससे. ओके, सो दैट इज व्हाट हैपेंस ओवर हियर. So at the cathode, sodium gets reduced, Na plus gets reduced. At the anode, chloride ions get oxidized to give you Cl2 gas. ठीक है. Rajanya, whatever you use, you need to use a pure thing. So this concept of rock salt versus other salt is कि उसमें और हम लोग chemically if we speak, it has more impurities. You can look it up. What is rock salt? Quickly देखते हैं. What is the chemical composition of rock salt? Let's look it up. What is the chemical composition of rock salt? Well, it says sodium chloride. Thank you, bro. Excellent. Oh God. Halite is rock salt. Oh my God, bro. But why are there so many colors in it? I thought it would have some impurities and stuff in it. This is interesting. Wikipedia is not very useful with this. I'll need to, what is the chemical composition? Man, Bing is useless. I'm going to have to go back to Google. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm interested now. What makes rock salt colorful? Sodium chloride. Great. Thank you, bro. Oh my God. Chemical analysis of major constituent. I found an article. मिल गया आपको article. रुको, load हो रहा है. अब यार खुल जा. Don't tell me you don't have access to it. There's some research paper I found about what is rock salt. What is this one? अरे ये वाला नहीं खुल रहा यार. Just talking about extracts, etc., etc., etc. ठीक है. I guess I'll share it with you when I find an awesome article that loads. It's taking some time to load. Although I have a really good internet connection, I guess. There. Oh, there you go. Before I start shouting at it. Okay, de-icing, कुछ कुछ लिखा है, but what does it have? It's a EPA, etc., etc. Background. Oh my God, there's so much radioactive. What? What? Hold up. It has uranium in it. That doesn't sound good. That sounds scary. Okay, rock salt supply availability. I'm very interested. Oh, okay. 95% sodium chloride. Okay. Rock salt का specification 90. What about rest of it? बाकी क्या है? ठीक है, we'll do this another time. But I'm curious now कि rock salt में और क्या होता है besides NaCl? Oh, there you go. It has aluminium. 41.6 milligram per kilogram of aluminium. Barium, calcium, obviously chloride, it has chloride. Iron, magnesium, manganese, sodium तो बहुत ज़्यादा होता ही है, right? Strontium, seems like it has a lot of stuff in it. Very interesting paper. I'm going to share this with you. Yeah, thanks Rajana for asking that question. Such fun stuff like this really makes my day. All right, let's get back to the session. Rock salt. What an awesome conversation. All right, cool. हम लोग क्या बात कर रहे थे? Yeah, molten NaCl. Cathode में है Na plus giving you Na. And remember, now I'm writing this to be liquid and not AQ. This is important. अगर आप board में लिख रहे हो, boards में anywhere else, look, if it's liquid, you need to write in liquid. Don't write in AQ. AQ मतलब पानी नहीं है. This is just molten. Okay. Hence, fluoride ion are also liquid and not aqueous. And यहाँ पे बन जाए chlorine gas. Oral reaction is this. E cell is less than 0, but we make it, spontaneous by providing opposite current. Okay. All right. Cool. This is what is removed. All right. Hey, what? Are we at the end of the session? Huh. Okay. I had another one, but maybe we'll talk about it next time. We'll continue this discussion. Okay. मैंने इसके बारे में बताया. What we'll do next is we'll do Faraday's laws. Right? And we'll follow that up with some different cases of electrolytic cells. मैंने आपको भी introduction दिया electrolytic cells. We'll continue talking about this where we see कि okay, this was a pure case जहाँ पे पानी नहीं था. बट अगर पानी आ जाए मिक्सचर में, थिंग्स बिकम वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, थिंग्स कंपीट. लुकिंग एट द, क्या बोलते हैं इसको, टेबल, electrochemical series, you will decide what comes out of the cathode, what comes out of the anode, and that is tested in JEE and NEET. Also, you would expect something to come out, कुछ और हो जाएगा, something called overpotential. We'll discuss all that in the next session. Let's solve these questions. I thought homework, but इसको हम लोग solve. We have 10 more minutes. I thought we'll take more time to discuss these things. Let's solve. Question solve करते हैं. In the concentration cell, अभी यही तो मैंने आपको सवाल दिया था, HAA, weak acid and this thing. मतलब ये क्या है? This is a buffer, है ना? H2 and buffer 1, buffer 2. Value of cell potential will depend on pKa, temperature, concentration of HA, concentration of Na. What do you think? We have solved this already, but we can solve it one more time. This question can have more than one correct answer. इसको क्या करें हम लोग? Can you guys tell me the answer to this one? This is also interesting. This is also pretty interesting. It's an interesting question. It could have more than one answer, but that doesn't mean that it makes it very difficult or anything. काफी doable है. So what we do right now to do this is basically just go into the basics. Okay. A, C, D, Rajanya, got this right. Okay, A, C, and D. Close, Rajanya. Temperature below, it will depend for sure. It will depend on temperature for sure. You remember, we said that delta S was dE by dt at constant pressure. There is a potential difference. It depends on temperature for sure. Why? Because K changes on temperature, so everything will change with temperature. But I'm not sure about this. देखना, ध्यान से देखना, ध्यान से देखना. All then, okay. बफर है तो हमने ये लिख लिया, एसिड से आया, सॉल्ट से आया. E is equal to minus RT by F ln Q. N डाल सकते हैं, ठीक है, 2F डाल सकते हैं, और you can put it as 1, depends on, yeah, you can put 2F, ठीक है, डाल दो, but it doesn't matter, it'll get cancelled out. What is H plus? H plus is Ka into Ha by A minus, right? Okay. What is ln Q? Ln Q is going to be H plus at the anode into P2 divided by H plus cathode into P2. Let's put a 2 over here, let's put a square here, let's put a square over here. Why? Because we're going to be doing H2 giving me 2H plus. Let's take that as the expression or the equation, right? Let's take that as the equation, plus 2 electron. So हम लोग 2F कर देते हैं, hence square हो जाएगा. अब देखो राजन्या, देखो चला गया. There is no Ka. Ka got cancelled out, right? It gets cancelled out. Because how did I get ln Q to be this? What is happening over here? This is on the RHS of the equation. This is on the LHS of the equation. This is on the RHS of the equation. This is on the LHS of the equation. मतलब क्या है? What I'm trying to say is you got H plus due to क्या बोलते हैं इसको? Cathode, right? Which is this. Let's say 2 and 1, right? H plus at 2 and RHS में और क्या था? नहीं, LHS में क्या था? Sorry. LHS plus H2 at 1, which is the anode, to give you H plus at 1, which is the anode, 2H plus, 2H plus H2 at 2, which is the cathode. ठीक है? So यहाँ पे Ka का क्या वैल्यू हुआ? K has no meaning. Yeah, Ka goes away. Everything else should be correct. ठीक है? तो इसको अगर आप पूरा substitute करो, if you open it up, you do whatever, yeah, Ka gets cancelled out. So Ka does not matter. You're right, it's B, C, and D. Awesome. ठीक है? Another question. Quickly, let's get done with this also. This is an interesting one too. And with this, you're sorted completely with both things, concentration cells and an introduction to electrolytic cells. The EMF of a concentration cell consists of two zinc electrodes, one dipped into M by 4 solution of zinc sulfate and the other into M by 16 of the same salt at 25 degrees Celsius. ठीक है, ये बहुत डुएबल है. ठीक है, अभी एक सिंपल तरीका है इसको करने का, क्विक, बहुत क्विक तरीका है करने का, एंड देयर इज अ स्लाइटली लॉन्गर वे ऑफ डूइंग इट. व्हाट इज अ क्विक तरीका ऑफ डूइंग इट? क्विक तरीका ऑफ डूइंग इट इज की 0.059 by 2 ln of whatever C1 by C2, where C1 is greater than C2. That's how E is going to be positive. Correct? All of the positive values. तो बड़ा कौन सा है? M by 4. So you do M by 4 divided by M by 16, which is कितना हो गया? 4 हो गया. So log हो गया. So it's going to be log 4. Log 4 into 0.059 by 2. So that becomes 2 log 2. So log 2 into 0.059. 0.059 into 0.3, 0.6 into 0.3, 0.06 into 0.3 ले लो, it just becomes 0.18. Is that an answer? Please send me that's an answer. Yeah, that is. Okay, great. Yes, no, maybe. This is the 15-second way of doing this question. A longer way, I can tell you. Yeah, this should be C then. According to this logic, please tell me it's C. Jaldi se kiya, but should be C. Yeah. All right. If you want to do this in detail, okay, there's nothing to say. So let's do it in some detail, right? What you do is write down the expression 0.059 by n log of cathode by anode. हाँ, अब cathode क्या होगा, anode क्या होगा, कैसे figure out करें? Cathode has to be the higher concentration. This has to be the lower concentration. This is what we have learned today. हमने डिटेल में इसको पढ़ा है. That's it. I put it here. I put it here. Substitute करते हैं इसको. 2 बाहर है because this is a 2 electron system. Okay. Once you have done that, this gets cancelled. 4 goes on top. This becomes 2 log 2. That's it. 0.177, 0.178 is the answer. C is the answer. Karthik, fashionably late. हम तो सेशन खत्म कर रहे हैं. We have got into the keep learning slide, bro. Don't worry about it. So, what did we learn today? According to NCERT, looks like it's hard to find this in NCERT, right? Let's see. NCERT में है कि नहीं? Concentration cells. वाह, ये शब्द ही NCERT में नहीं है. Great. और क्या किया? Electrolytic cell. Electrolytic cell. Oh, you can't see. Can you see my screen? Okay. Electrolytic cell इसमें बंधुओं ने दिया है आधे पेज में. We spent an entire session on it. We will do these Faraday's laws. हम लोग करेंगे. But उससे ज्यादा जरूरी मेरे लिए ये वाला पार्ट है. We did this. We did a lot of this. Okay. Products of electrolysis. मतलब एनोड पे क्या आता है, कैथोड पे क्या आता है, ठीक है, और पानी के बिना क्या आता है. So what you can do is please read this for next time. If there is water, what happens? There is competing stuff that happens. And there is something that's very interesting, right? This right here. Okay. Look at this one line. This is probably the most over-asked thing in this chapter. Yeah, there's something called over-potential, which will say hota hai ki water should get oxidized, but on account of over-potential of oxygen reaction, something is preferred. This is asked a lot. So please read this. Yes, Rajan. Next one's at 8:30. That's going to be, what's that going to be? Periodic table? That's going to be easy. This is complicated. That's going to be easy. And batteries वाला part आप लोग खुद कर लेना. ठीक है? So we have a couple of more sessions to go after this. In the next session, I'm going to do primarily Faraday's laws, and the following one we will do Kohlrausch law and all of this conductivity वाली चीजें. ठीक है? Or maybe we'll do that. Also, I'm going to be solving some awesome practice sessions with you. We're going to be doing those as well. And all the best. जो भी और भी एक दो एग्जाम भी लोगे बाकी है, like I think Rajan is giving WBJE tomorrow, so all the best for that. There's some people giving NEST. All the best for that. I've been doing a lot of awesome NEST sessions, so I hope they've had. Oh, by the way, BitSat के जो मैंने sessions किए थे उसमें से exactly 2 questions those students I even made a short about it and put it on the JEE channel. So yeah, I think it's important to do the basic stuff. I'm not taking any credit for this. I mean, I just came live to you with those questions. You have to actually had solved them. That's what will help you. तो वो basic चीजें करते रहो. Yeah, do things from NCERT, do PYQs. They help you on all exams. All right, see you around. मिलेंगे 8:30 बजे. Yeah, Saturday. Have an awesome weekend. If this is the last one you're watching, if you're going to be there for the periodic session one, I'll see you there. Bye. See you around. Tata.